Hey guys, welcome back to Latoski Family Farm. We're back out in the bee yard today. It's been about 8 days since we put these last supers on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to crack into all these hives and see how they're progressing along. I did bring enough supers to add another one to all of these hives. So if, for the most part, they've got their box drawn out and starting to put some nectar in, we're going to go ahead and just give them a little bit more room. It'll be about another week before we can get out here. So we'll go ahead and just give them that extra room now so that way they don't run out. We did already get into this hive here. This hive, they've fully drawn out that top box and they've got, I would say, 75% filled with nectar. So they're definitely ready for another box, but we'll go ahead. We'll get into the rest of these, see if they're ready, and if they all are, we'll go ahead and we'll add one more super to them. We'll also get into this queenless hive and we'll see if she has started laying yet. Quite a few bees up in the top of this box. We'll go ahead and give that a crack, give them a little bit of smoke. They've definitely got a lot of forage out in this area, so they've really been just packing the nectar into these hives. Been very happy with how they've been doing this year. So we'll go ahead and pull a few of these frames out and see how they're doing. First frame, they've got it almost fully drawn out. Same with the second, they're doing a good job drawing that out. So looks like for the most part they've got this drawn out. Taking a look down in the box below, I can see they got that fully capped off. Starting to put some nectar into these center frames, so this hive's definitely ready for another one as well. So we'll go ahead and get them buttoned back up, drop an extra super on for them. I normally would let it go a little bit further before I dropped another super on, but seeing as how we're not going to be out for at least another week, I don't want them to fill up in that time and them need the extra room and not have it. So I'd rather give it to them a little bit early. We did go ahead and paint all the frames on these hives, so they've got a good foundation. Let's take a peek at this one right here. I assume most all these hives are going to be just about ready for another one. They've all been doing pretty well at keeping pace with each other. If you remember, this was one of the hives back here that was queenless at the start of the season. And it does look like they're just a little bit behind these other hives. I don't think we'll need to add another super to this one this week, but by next week they should be ready for another one. So we'll go ahead and get them closed back up. We're not doing a full inspection today. We pulled all our queen cells last week, so I'm not too concerned with them swarming in the next week. Next week when we come out here, we'll make the time to do a full hive inspection on all the hives. This one was ready for another super, so we'll go ahead and just get one dropped on them quick. So let's go ahead and take a peek into some of these hives and see how they're doing. Doesn't appear that they're going to be ready for another one either. This hive was a little behind the rest of them. The last time we were out here, they weren't quite ready for a second one, but it's better to put it on so they have the room if they need it. Not a ton of bees up in this box, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're not ready for another one either. This hive is starting to draw out some of this comb up top. It appears they're just starting on it. Each frame just has a little bit drawn out on it. I think they would be alright waiting another week to get an extra super. That'll also give this hive over here a little bit of time to catch up. Yep, this one's not quite ready for another one. They are doing a good job of capping off the one below though. I expect we'll be pulling some honey here in the coming weeks. We're getting ready to order a big uncapping tank from Max Ant. So as soon as I get home from doing this, I'll be giving them a call and putting our order in. That'll definitely help in our extracting process. We also just got our 20 frame extractor back from being repaired. The nozzle broke off from it, so took it to a friend's house and he welded it back up for us. We're starting to get everything ready. That way we're good to go when it comes time to extract. Go ahead and crack in and see how this one's coming along. Looks like this hive's doing pretty well. They've got quite a bit of drawn comb in this top one. This was another one of those hives that's been doing well all season long. And it looks like most of these frames have nectar in it. So we'll go ahead and we'll add another super to this one. We did bring a couple of empty super boxes, so that way if they're mismatched in height when we go to strap them down, we can add an empty super on top of the lid. That'll help just even things out, so that way we can get it strapped down so we don't have to worry about any hives getting knocked over. So we'll go ahead, we'll grab another super box, we'll add it onto that one. When we do come out and pull our supers off these hives, I'll bring out 2 empty supers and we'll drop those on, and then hopefully we can get some of the fall flow up here and be able to get a couple of late boxes to extract. We usually get a good push of goldenrod up here. So hopefully we can catch some of that goldenrod flow. It doesn't appear that this hive's ready for another one as well. So we'll just go ahead and we'll put an empty super box on top of this one just to level these two out when we go to strap them back down. But in 8 days, 3 of our hives are at least ready for an additional super. And then I'm going to assume that the rest of these will be ready next week when we come out here. We plan on pulling from our hives sometime in late August, early September. And then we'll go through and we'll start extracting from there. We'll go ahead and we'll get you guys moved though. And we'll bring you over here and we'll go through this queenless hive and see if there's any sign of a queen in there. Alright guys, we got you set up over here, so we'll go ahead and we'll jump into this hive and see if there's anything going on in here. We do have to replace a few of the frames in this one. So at this time we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that gets done. Nothing going on in this top box. I did bring out some extra frames so we could swap those out. So this time we're just checking for eggs. We're not too worried about getting any honey off from this hive this year. We're just trying to save it so that way we can hopefully overwinter it and get it to next year. They do still have a few queen cells on here. This one actually has a larvae inside of it. Looks like we do have a couple of queen cells that may have emerged since the last time we've been out here. I did leave a few extra queen cells in here just in case the emerging queen that I put in didn't make it, or if one of the other queens that emerged didn't make it. Not too worried about there being a couple extra queens in here. They'll sort themselves out. We're just trying to get one viable queen in here. If that takes them making 3 or 4 queens to do so, then so be it. Not a lot going on in that top box, so we'll go ahead and jump down into this bottom one and see what's going on in there. Not seeing any sign of a new queen quite yet. Sometimes if you hold the frame up to the sunlight, it'll help you see down into those cells a little bit better. The eggs are very tiny. Once they start to form into larvae, then it becomes a little bit easier to see them. So it doesn't appear we have anything going on. We'll check on them again next week. Some of those eggs can be real hard to spot when you're going through. I did not see a queen in here though, yet there's been multiple that have emerged. So it doesn't mean she's not in here, just because I didn't see her. When they're not marked, they can be pretty hard to spot. So we'll go ahead and we'll get them put back together. And we got a few empty boxes to help even these guys out. All right, guys, we'll get these buttoned back up and then we'll come back. All right, guys, we got everything buttoned up, strapped back down. We are going to have to get some longer straps. These ones that we had initially, we're getting too tall for them. So I'll have to stop and grab some new straps. Even these ones here, there's not a lot of tail left before we run out of room on those either. We are getting ready for extraction. Like I said, a couple of weeks we'll be coming out here and we'll pull 2 off from each hive. We'll take that, we'll get it extracted. Whatever's not fully capped off, we'll just drop down on the hive. We'll add a couple extra supers on, and then, like I said, hopefully we get a good fall flow and we can do a second round of extraction. But I think that's all we're going to have for today's video. So we'll see you guys in the next one.